What's up? What's up? Welcome to another Relationship Thursday.
Relationship Thursday.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Welcome again, y'all, to Relationship Thursday. My name is, or better yet, this right here is my beautiful, my sensational, my edible,
Edible
and incredible wife, Fiona.
Edible and incredible.
Hi, babe.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm all right.
You doing all right?
Yes, I am.
You looking good.
Thank you.
You looking beautiful.
Thank you.
You happy to be sitting next to me?
I am.
I'm going to keep interrupting you when you're about to say something.
This right here, this is my fine, amazing protector, my confidant, you know, my boy, my sweetheart.
Why gotta be your boy?
My soulmate, my lover. You are my, because you are.
I'm your man. I'm your dude. That dude. Your dude.
I mean, you're like you're my boy. Like, you're my best friend. You know. So.
True that.
So welcome. If you're just joining us tonight, you're in for a treat because we are going to be talking about conflict. We're going to be talking about conflict management in your relationship, and we're going to be talking about some of the benefits of conflict. Some of the benefits, right?
Some of the benefits. We reverse this thing tonight.
We reversing it tonight because some of y'all think y'all ain't never supposed to have an argument. You think it ain't never supposed to go down like that, and we just want you to understand that that is not the case. As you come into the room, can you please let us know where you are watching us from? Where you watching us from? Something wrong over there. I see you, Kadria, and I see you, Sheena. What's going on, Stephanie and Tia, representing Richmond, Virginia. Tammy, I see you. Elijah, come on in the room. 529 and Teron, it's been a minute. Good to see you, my brother. So again, if you're just joining us, we are married. We are therapists. We do couples work together. We do individual counseling. We do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We do retreats and we do conferences and workshops, and we do this work because we feel called to this work. But we think that the thing that gives us the most credibility is the fact that we are doing this thing every day. Okay. Just like many of y'all watching, or even some of you all who are getting ready for the one who's going to come. We are walking the walk every day in our own relationship as we parent our 5 children, and we grow and go to the next level in our relationship. I see Maryland is representing tonight, and I see the Bahamas is representing. Hey, Denise, representing Maryland, and Pennsylvania is in the house. What's going on, Makisha? Sheena is in the Bahamas, and the ATL is in the house. So we got a good diverse group tonight. And as you're listening, if you think that there's someone who might benefit from this, because they just get so thrown off when there's conflict, and they need to understand, perhaps it's your partner, or perhaps it's a good friend, you might want to share it with them. So we encourage you to share this video, to share it to your page, share it to people you think it may be helpful for, as we get started tonight talking about conflict and all the benefits. You had a title. What was the title you put out on Facebook? What's the name of this live stream? What you say?
7 ways that conflict can strengthen your relationship. 7
ways that conflict can strengthen your relationship. Okay, so that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So again, if you're just jumping on, please share this live stream. We know a lot of people out there could benefit from the information, and please leave comments too. Please leave comments with your pieces of wisdom, your advice, your recommendations as we go through the live stream tonight. Before we get started, y'all, what we want to do is, if you're happy that tomorrow is Friday, let's see some likes, some hearts, something. If you're happy that tomorrow is Friday, let's see some hearts. Let me see some hearts if you're happy that tomorrow is Friday.
Let me go my heart. How you make a heart?
Yeah.
I'm happy.
If you're happy, let me see some hearts, y'all. It's been a stressful week. And I know for a lot of people, every week is a stressful week. And so again, if you're happy and excited that tomorrow is Friday and this weekend is coming up, let's see some hearts. Let's see some hallelujahs in the house. Let's see some give thanks. Let's see some of that, because again, you got to celebrate and appreciate these moments where you have opportunities to just kick back, relax, and just chill. And so again, the weekend is coming up. 529 says my day off. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You got to give some hearts. Give yourself an opportunity to exhale over the weekend.
Yeah.
So again, y'all, welcome to another Relationship Thursday. Tonight, we're going to be talking about 7 ways in which you can use conflict to strengthen your relationship. I like that meme right there. Somebody put the sister with the hands up.
Yeah, honey.
In the air.
We got it.
Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, when it comes to conflict, is there anybody out there right now that's in the midst of dealing with some conflict in their relationship at this current moment? Not specifically during the 9 o'clock hours a night, but is there anybody that is specific that's dealing with conflict right now in their relationship? If you are, this live stream is perfect for you. If you are, then, you know, also give a like. Give a like and please share this video.
Be like, yeah, conflict, yeah.
Conflict.
We're not getting along. Woo!
Yes, you got to embrace that thing. But so, you know, conflict is a necessary component of a healthy relationship. I see over here on YouTube, we got some people saying I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. It's a necessary component to a healthy relationship. And so when I say necessary, people don't like that. You know, people don't like conflict. Conflict has caused the many issues in relationships, caused the many divorces, caused the many breakups and
conflict alone, or the
ill
management,
a bunch of infidelity. And so when you think conflict and you know how it leads to the manifestation of so many other things, whether it be in a relationship, outside a relationship, in your physical body with illness, conflict can be a drain, y'all. It can be a drain. And so when I say that it's a necessary component to a healthy relationship, I want us in this live stream tonight to reframe conflict. So I want us to look at conflict and reframe it as something that's necessary in the sense that it gives us an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Conflict provides an opportunity for us to grow. And so we're going to be sharing again 7 ways in which conflict can provide an opportunity and strengthen your relationship.
You did that. I tried to go to the screen for you. Yeah, babe, you got it. All right. Okay, so my husband has already established tonight that, you know, conflict, there are benefits to conflict, and we oftentimes don't understand, and we may understand it intellectually, but we really do not. Just don't interrupt me. we you know, we really don't understand just what the benefits are, and so. One of the things that we oftentimes say is this, and my husband is known for this one. You cannot, even though you might dare try to, you cannot roll through your relationship as if your perspective is the only perspective that is possible. That your perspective is the only perspective that is practical. Like there's really no other way other than your way. Like, I understand what you're saying, honey, but the right way is really this way. And let me help you to understand why it is this way. No one has the monopoly on perspective. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that conflict does automatically is it challenges you to think about some things, or to receive some things, or to consider some things that you might not want to consider, receive, or think about. Mm-hmm. Now, that doesn't mean that you automatically, you know, drop into like, all right, let me consider that. Let me think about that. Many of us resist and fight back because we get real identified with our agenda and exactly what we feel about a certain situation. I know that I mean, my automatic response is that I very much inside of myself rise up like, what? Like, because I already have a, I said inside of myself. I ain't saying I experience it. You know what I'm saying? You do that.
No, I experience it from you. Yes. When you rise up inside of yourself, I get some of that stuff rubbing off.
I was thinking I was going to go in the direction of, but I, you know, learned how to manage some of that.
No, I guess I still get some of that.
Yeah, but it's better.
Yeah, it's better.
It's better.
It's better for sure.
But I got more room to grow.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sure I do. So we just want to normalize that thing. So I'm automatically like, you know what I'm saying? I'm ready. I'm at the front line. Like, what? You know, I'm already there. So that's what happens. And so Ayize, for me and our relationship, when he pushes back against some of my preconceived notions, when he says, yeah, I heard everything you said, but no, I don't agree. Nice and calm like that too. It's getting on my last nerve, you know, like, nah, you know, he let me go through it all. I think I've done a presentation. I have broken that thing down. And I'm like, nah, right? Or don't let him be in a place where he is straight up, you know, not feeling me and, you know, kind of off on his own little quiet island. I like to talk. So quietness, that silence gets me. You know, whatever. Why you smile?
I'm just thinking about a few things.
Yeah, don't, and you shouldn't do that. That's not a positive. You're not supposed to get quiet and shut down. That's called stonewalling. That's called putting up a block, right? That's what you need to work on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so what is the benefit? Number one, the benefit is that it challenges you to get uncomfortable and to do something differently. You can stay in your position trying to, push forward with your perspective or wanting to shut things down. I'm not dealing with this. This is what it is, right? Or no, you're wrong. You don't understand, whatever. You can stay in that position. I'll just go ahead and let you know, if you stay in that position, you're not going to win. And so we have to learn that in order to be successful in a relationship, we've got to place the relationship above our own individual egos and our own individual agendas. See, I couldn't be right. I mean, I can be right. Oftentimes I am right. I'm just going to.
So you think?
Oftentimes I am right. but while I may think I'm right, or what I feel should happen is right for me, or from my perspective, it is not right for the relationship, because I'm one half of this dynamic duo. And what does that mean? It means that there might be a certain way that I might roll on a certain situation, a way that he might roll. But when we come together, we've got to figure out how to do it in the best way that benefits the relationship. So it challenges us. It challenges us to put down our perspectives, to lay down what it is that we feel is so important, and to really consider someone else, not just in word, but really, really negotiate. And, for many of us, especially, those latecomers to marriage and latecomers to relationships, people talk about how difficult that is, because you're used to just doing what you do. You're used to, like, I made a decision. This is what it is. I'm rolling we don't have to negotiate anything, right? When you've been single for a long time, or you're in a relationship where one person is always deferring and the other person is always, that's not what's up. You are supposed to challenge one another. And so conflict comes to give you some challenge and to help you learn how to consider another perspective.
So what's number one?
Number one, the benefit to conflict is that it challenges you to consider another perspective and to recognize that your perspective is not the only one out there, that you have to do something different, that you have to take in somebody else's viewpoint, their strategy, their mind, their feelings about a certain situation, and you've got to tango with that thing. People who are not in committed, connected relationship oftentimes can choose whether or not they will deal with that or not. They don't have to do all of that. They can just roll how they roll. But if you are not doing that in your own relationship, you are going to sink. And conflict often brings that, because when we're getting along, it's all good. When we are, we have some goals we're working on together, it's gravy. Everything is fine. Challenge always stretches us and always challenges us. Conflict always challenges us to really take into consideration another perspective and to back it up with some actions, with some real concrete things to show our partner that, okay, my way isn't the only way. That's number one. That was
good, Ben. I wasn't really expecting you to go there with number one.
I can see you looking like you're thinking something.
But I mean, you dropped a number of different gems in it that we could have probably broken down into 2, 3, 4, 5. But I'm gonna stick with you on number one right now, just simply for this reason.
Which means stick with me.
I'm gonna expound on number one just a little bit more.
And make it number two?
No, I'm gonna make it number one. When
he said that we take too long, that's because I've already spoken 5 minutes on number one. So you're gonna come on top of number one.
What was number one? What was number one again? We need to type this stuff up. What was number one?
Wait a minute. You tell me, y'all, hold up. What's going on tonight with Aisha? How much wine you got left in your glass already? Wait a minute. He done asked me about 2-3 times what was number one. I said what's number one. Like, you tell me what number one is.
I mean, nobody has a monopoly on perspective, and you got to make room for somebody else's perspective, opinion, thoughts, and their approach to certain things. So it's not just your way.
Right. And so what we need to be clear about is that when we experience conflict, that is where we practice that. To be in a relationship with another person means you should consider another person, make room for another person. But when y'all are bumping heads, that's where you get to practice it. If you don't get the challenge and the conflict, you will not be necessarily compelled or moved to consider your partner. They can just roll with you. You can just roll with them, or you just roll over them, or whatever. You might think that you wouldn't, but more than likely you will, because we like to do things the way we like to do things, and we like to flow the way we like to flow. My husband will come in a space and he want to move through things like this. I'm like, slow down. If he just could do it the way he want to do it, he would just move through. Right? Like, wait a minute, slow down. Can you be present? You're not present with me, right? And then we might start bumping heads around some things. I'm challenging him in the midst of the conflict. Conflict will benefit you because it makes you consider another way, if you're ready for it and if you're trying to have a successful relationship. Do you have it now?
I got it now, baby. So number 2, y'all. Number 2. And the reason why I wanted you to reiterate that is because I was trying to see how I could allow that, point number 1 to lead into point number 2. And so for point number 2, just piggybacking off of what my wife just mentioned, when it comes to conflict can strengthen your relationship because it allows you an opportunity to wander in the wilderness.
Well, that sounds like I need to do that after that one. He's like, he about to get started on it. It gives you an opportunity to wander in the wilderness. That's like the organ right there. I'm ready for that.
I know we got some biblical scholars who are watching this live stream tonight. And so, some of y'all know, or many of y'all may know, and I don't even know completely, but I know I've experienced it in my relationship. But, I believe it was Moses. He wandered in the wilderness. And in that experience, and correct me if I'm wrong, in that experience, there were valuable lessons. There were jewels and gems that were gleaned from the difficulty and the encumbering, tiresome, overwhelming and frustrating and stressful experiences during that time period. And so in your relationship, when I say that it gives you an opportunity to wander in the wilderness, what I'm saying is that you don't have to, in the experience of conflict, rush to a solution, rush to an answer. And so, I'll speak specifically about our relationship.
Can you give an example?
Yeah, I will. My wife and I, on a number of occasions, she'll be rushing me to get to an answer, to get to a solution. And even when I say something, me saying something is not necessarily my final response or my final answer. It's really just me processing aloud. And so what happens is that she takes my verbalizing of my thoughts and my feelings and my processing to mean that I've arrived at a particular place when it doesn't necessarily mean that. I'm still wandering in the wilderness.
Yeah, she'll be wandering.
And so, again, in her taking my wandering as my arrival, it leads to further contention in a relationship, because what happens is that she thinks that I'm someplace where I'm really not. But the beauty of that experience, at least from my perspective, is that it allows me to express to her that I haven't arrived at my final destination, baby. Really, all I'm doing is processing, and I'm giving you a glimpse into my thoughts and feelings.
And what y'all think? What you think I'm thinking? I'm feeling. I'm like, dude, if we can't get you some resolution on this, you wandering a little bit too much, and you're doing a little bit too much. But it helps me. I know that it helps me to learn how to increase my patience, to learn how to really be present with where he is, because I'm already done. I'm already gotten to my answer. And so it's helping me to grow my patience. That's really what it is. Otherwise, I would not be challenged. The conflict does come to teach me that. I will say that's true.
Yeah. So, again, the lesson here is that you have to allow your partner room. And you have to allow yourself room as well to be in a space where you process your thoughts and feelings. You explore them. You twiddle them between your fingers, and you explore, you throw them out there on the table, see if they stick on the wall. You don't, you pull them back. You're just really getting those things out, because again, in that process and in that experience, what's happening is that you all are refining or hopefully arriving at an agreement, a shared perspective. And so, when you wander in the wilderness, it's okay for you to be patient in that process and allow yourself to go through it. It's uncomfortable, y'all. It's uncomfortable because again, when you're not at resolution, then you feel as though the problem is just continuing to grow, continue to be exacerbated, and, continue to, just develop. But again, the reality is that you can actually be working on it without verbalizing it. You could be working on it internally, and you could be working on it through the process of processing. And then you eventually have to arrive at a place where you engage your partner and you express what it is that you've been thinking or feeling. And so again, it's okay to wander through the wilderness. So that's point number 2.
All right. Now, why you saying like point number 1, point number 2? Never mind. I'm petty. All right. So what else do we get from conflict?
Oh, let me ask this question. Let me ask this question.
Okay.
Do y'all have challenges with that? Do you find yourself in a space where you're wanting the conflict to be resolved like immediately.
Oh yeah.
You know, I want to hear what the viewers have to say. Like, do you find yourself in a space where you think that when you have an issue, even if it's a significant issue, like it has to be done and dealt with, like right now, like you have difficulty with your partner pontificating, you got difficulty with your partner, you know, going through an extended thought process to really explore his thoughts and feelings. Like, are there, and is it? I'm seeing the women say yes. Fellas, do y'all have challenges with that? Or do you feel like, you know, I could take forever to think about this thing? Like, what? And ladies, do you feel like your man probably feels like he could take forever? Like, does anybody have challenges with this? And not just, you know, the women having challenges with the men, you know, taking forever, but fellas, do y'all have challenges with your wife or your woman taking forever in terms of coming back to the table and bringing the issue up?
They all say, yeah,
yes, my husband.
Get to it.
Well, 36 Soybean says, yes, my husband likes conflict to be resolved quickly. I can dwell on it for a little while. Okay. Yeah, and so, you know, again, the point here is that we do want to massage it. We do want to, you know, really. Why are you looking at me like that?
No, I'm listening.
You got a problem with me saying massage it?
Yeah, no, I mean, because I like to get moving along, so that's just my own personal. I'm learning patience.
Yeah,
I'm learning patience.
Yeah, like for real, when people are like, so it can be kind of irritating.
And actually, that's not me.
It can be when you're like this. It can be agitating.
No. So let me just say this. That's not me. But in this relationship, it may feel like this because you like this.
And that's not me.
You going slow? Yes, you are.
That's your perspective.
So no, okay, that's my perspective.
Yeah.
But then this is your perspective, and what I'm saying is this is exaggerated. Okay, and it probably feels that way to you because you move so slow. But you know, I think there's value in both, right? There's value in both. Can we just lift up what Yvette has said? Yes, right now my partner is wanting me to affirm if I am with him or not, and I said I need time to process the argument and the words used to communicate his issues with me. Okay, so you know, people need time, and so yeah, it's a real deal. Well, somebody else is like, "Hello, are you with me or not?" But we have to understand that there really is value in both. Right?
But there is value in both. But what I will say is that just as there's irritation in terms of the delay and the deliberation that people who process or spend an extended amount of time thinking and philosophizing and all of that type of stuff, there's an extreme amount of agitation on the flip side for people who don't take the time to process
that's right.
and explore and are quick to you know, arrive at a solution.
That's not me.
It's not really considering all angles, all perspectives, and not just the perspectives that are seen, but those perspectives that are unseen as well. And so, you know, sometimes the people that take a little bit more time, they're like 3 or 4 moves ahead. And so, you know, they may be thinking or playing on a different board than the person who's trying to move
yourself right now.
I'm just saying.
I mean, it sounds like you're just saying yourself a little bit. Like, what are you doing?
I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm like, where are we going with this? All right, that was number 2, right? All right, number 3, y'all. What are the benefits of conflict in a relationship? That's what we're talking about tonight. If you're just joining us, I'd like for you to share this video, and you know, put it on your page or share it with some folks who you think it may be beneficial. For many of us know that conflict is inevitable in a relationship. However, we do not negotiate it as though we expect it to be a part of the terrain. We negotiate it as though it's some big inconvenience. Why is it here? I don't have time for this. How many of y'all said, I ain't got time for this, right? No, like you should have time for it because it's a part of the territory that you will be navigating in a relationship. So we're talking tonight about the benefits of conflict. The benefits of conflict are so many, but we're just harping on a few tonight. And number 3 is this: your conflict may prevent you from getting divorced.
Are you serious? Like, I mean, so people avoid it. People avoid it because they're afraid of it leading to divorce.
Yes, because I mean, and we've talked about this before when we sit with couples and we say, you know, we really don't argue. I mean, we just, you know, we put in rules a long time ago and we don't have a lot of conflict. We don't have a lot of bumping of the heads. You know, we communicate our needs and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, first of all, why are you sitting here? And second of all, I'm worried. So how does it prevent divorce? How does conflict prevent divorce? Look, for those folks who are like the folks I just mentioned, right, who have sat before us plenty of times, those folks, what are those folks? Those folks are people who in some way may avoid conflict, may have a hard time lifting up what their needs are, saying what their preferences are, really telling their partner how they felt about the fact that, you know, your mom came over here and she just showed up and she didn't, you know, call, you know what I'm saying, and came in my kitchen and started like, you know what I'm saying, throwing down, and I'm not cool with that. And you was all good talking about, mama, your food tastes so good, whatever, right? Like whatever the issues are, they have a hard time putting those things out. Perhaps it's not even that there was something that they really need to, like, you know, say, I have a problem with, but they just need to be able to say what it is they want, what it is they desire. Persons who have a hard time lifting up what they need, conflict brings about the ability for you to get in it. For you to be able to share what the issues are, for you to be able to say, this is what's bothering me. I don't understand what's happening. I'm upset about this. Conflict is a necessary ingredient for two people who are in a serious relationship, because if you're always in agreement and you're always riding side by side and everything is working, y'all are faking. So conflict comes to help us be real with one another. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't let that conflict come about and let that thing air out and get it out with, you know, what you're thinking, and allow your partner to say what they're thinking, you know what? Y'all are going to get to a point. And I have seen it happen time and time again. Folks will get to a point where they're like, I can't deal with this no more. I can't, I'm done. It's a wrap. It's over. Or you explode, or you get to this place where there's so much resentment built up. There's so much toxicity now in the relationship. There's so much hurt. There's so much pain because you did not share. You did not allow the conflict to come about like it needed to. You did not let stuff out, that there's so much to handle. The relationship cannot hold it anymore. The relationship then gets crushed under the weight of conflict not entered into, the weight of all of this potential conflict that needed to be gotten into, just sitting on the relationship, sitting on it, and it crushes it. And I've seen many people get into this place where it's just too heavy and people say, I'm done, they tap out. So yes, it can prevent you from divorcing because it allows you to get into the issues. And that leads to number 4. The fourth benefit is that it allows you to really find out what's really going on. What's really going on? Why are you looking at me like that? Anyway.
How you know I didn't want to say something on number 3?
I know you always want to tap in on something, but let me just say, look, the fourth benefit, right? It just really ties in well with this third piece around preventing divorce. It allows you to see what the real issue is. What ways, now we tell couples all the time, y'all, there should be some place in your relationship, whether it's 1 hour on one day every week, that you sit down and you say, hey, this is our opportunity to connect in and say, like, what's going on? Not connecting necessarily and hold hands and all that, right? We ain't getting all, but just like what's happening, what's been happening over the last week, over the last 2 weeks or whatever. There's some things that I'm feeling, I'm hurting about, I'm upset about, I'm concerned about. If you don't have a defined space in the relationship to do that, which oftentimes couples don't, then when the hell is it going to come out? Now, sophisticated couples have that space and time. If they don't do it every week, they do it every 2 weeks. If they don't do it every 2 weeks, at least once a month, where we come together and we just say, like, what's happening? Right. And this becomes a habit. But for many couples, even though they like to do that, they do not do that, or they do it here and there, they fall off. So if you don't do that, right, which most couples do not, then where is the space for y'all to get up in it and really figure out what's really going on? So conflict also benefits you, because when you can have these places where, wait a minute, y'all are rubbing each other the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? There's something going. If you don't let that thing out, don't hold back. Don't be quiet. Don't look at your partner from the side and just, keep on typing on your computer like, I don't know what the hell's wrong with him right now. Whatever. Like, don't do that. Say what you need to say. Get into it. Because when you do that, it helps you to figure out what the real issue is. Because oftentimes couples are walking around with many opportunities to go deeper and to say, like, what was that comment about? Why you ain't come downstairs, right? Why you look like that? You know, whatever it is, why you didn't answer my call? You seem a little distant, right? But we don't get into it because we want things to stay peaceful and we want things to just kind of like, I don't have time to get all into that. But you know what? You got to get in it because it allows you to figure out what the real issue is. So yeah, I just hit 3 and 4. It's going to save you from divorcing so that you don't have all of this mess building up over time. And then number 4, it's going to allow you to figure out what the real issue really is if you go there. But you will never know if you are scared to go there. Conflict. It's a beautiful thing. I'm ready to argue with you when we're done with this. Got some things on my mind.
Hey, if you have not shared, please go ahead and do so.
Please do share the video. I love what Antonio has said so eloquently. I hate arguments. That's what he said. I hate them, right? So we have to acknowledge that. We got to acknowledge that, you know, for many of us, I don't like arguing either. And I don't like when we're disconnected. It's difficult for me. I don't like being in that place. But I recognize that it has to happen. That, you know, if I just let him stay comfortable, and if he just lets me stay comfortable, right, it's not going to work. Or if I'm just looking for my own comfort because I don't like these awkward conversations, right? Like the studies show that your relationship will not last. The studies show that you will only have a certain level of intimacy in your relationship, emotional intimacy. And oftentimes that leads to a lack of sexual and physical intimacy because you're not willing to let the conflict roll. So I know that, and because I know that, I know we got to let it flow. So if nothing else, just think about, you know, if I want to have a real relationship, then that is a part of it. It is not a normal thing. And it is not a healthy thing to say, you know, we just don't really argue. We just discuss our stuff, you know, and we don't have conflict, right? There is a way to do it. There is an appropriate way. Yvette says, what is your advice on communicating effectively without projecting and justifying your reactions off of the other person's actions? Well, look, honey, that's a whole nother live stream.
I'll say DYW.
Well, what's your DYW?
Who knows what DYW is?
DY, do your work.
I wasn't asking you.
Oh, I was a part of the trying to figure it out. Do your work. Yes, do your work. Do your work. Yeah, I was gonna say self-regulation. I know that's been a big part for me. You know, regulate yourself, regulate your emotions, and that's personal work. That had nothing to do with him. I got to do that for myself. You know, and particularly when you're.
So that leads us to number 5. And again, if you haven't shared, please do so. Number 5 is that one of the benefits or ways in which conflict can strengthen your relationship is exactly what my wife just mentioned. What she mentioned is that conflict can encourage you if you take the offer to do your work.
Take the offer.
So conflict, it presents an opportunity.
Yes, it does. I like how you said that.
Yeah, it presents.
This is why I'm attracted to this man, because he's so smart.
It presents an opportunity. An offer for you to look at yourself in the mirror and see where you went wrong, where you had a misstep, where there was a mishap, and where there's some need for self-correction. And so self-examination should lead to self-correction, especially if you're experiencing conflict in your relationship. Your partner did not create the conflict by him or herself alone. You participated in that process somehow. It may have not have been as significant as he or she, but somehow you're in there somewhere, whether it's you're silently or quietly complicit in the creation of the conflict, or you're directly doing something that's contributing to the conflict. In any event, it's important that you do some self-reflection so that you can examine your participation and your role when it comes to the conflict, the development of the conflict. And so, again, when it comes to how conflict can benefit you and strengthen a relationship, it'll hold the mirror right smack dab up to you. There's been a number of times in our relationship. And so for those people who say, like,
when the mirror was up on you?
Yes. I mean, like Antonio, I think it was Antonio was name. You mentioned, like, I hate conflict.
I'm just saying, you keep shaking the table.
He said, I hate conflict. And I get you. I mean, it doesn't feel good, but the reality is that we are where we are in our relationship. We are who we are sitting before you. What are we, 17 years married in May? 24 years together.
In May is coming up.
Yeah, 5 children. You know, highly in love, incredibly connected. sexually attracted, you know, all of that good stuff. But I mean, the truth be told, like it's because we experienced a hell of a lot of conflict early on in our relationship, and we still experience conflict at times. And so it's not a bad thing. But what conflict has enabled me to do is to look at myself, y'all. You know, I've had to acknowledge where I've come up short. You know, where I need to pump my brakes, where I need to step it up a little bit more, where I need to show up differently, whether it be in my engagement with my wife, in my engagement with our children. It's forced me to reckon with my inadequacies. And so in doing that, like, that mirror is real. And so if you're not courageous enough to look at the mirror that's reflecting back to you your issues, your inadequacies, your challenges, your struggles, which your relationship will bring to you, then you're not really equipped or ready to be in a healthy relationship, because it gives me the opportunity. It offers me an opportunity to grow, to elevate, to go to the next level. And so again, it doesn't feel good, but that agitation, it leads to elevation if you take advantage of the opportunity to engage it. Mm-hmm. And so I've done that. Sometimes I say, no, I'm not doing it, but I've done that more often than not. And so I've deposited strong deposits in the emotional bank account of my wife.
Yes, you have.
And consequently, we are where we are today. So again, a benefit in a way that conflict can strengthen your relationship is that it'll hold the mirror right up to you and offer you an opportunity to grow.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I think, you know, you said in the midst of your beautiful soliloquy, you said something about over time, you know, we still get into our conflict now. Mm-hmm. We still have arguments now, right? But probably not as frequently as we did before, but we still get up in it, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So one of the ways that conflict is beneficial, and this is number 6, is this. When you anything that you do, anything that you practice, you become more efficient and proficient at. Is that not right? Right, like anything that you do with regularity, you become better at. And so conflict and the ability to successfully manage conflict, right? Mm-hmm. If you do that and you practice that, then you get better at it. Mm-hmm. So that the way you enter into the conflict, the way that you are perceiving what your partner is saying, your insight about your partner, all of that stuff gets more sophisticated over time only because you practiced it. It does not get sophisticated over time just because. It's because you are allowing yourself to lean into the conflict and to learn what you need to learn about managing it with your partner. And so that's one of the benefits of conflict. It helps you to learn about your partner. It helps you to learn about their motives. What's leading them to flow the way that they flow? Why do they come at this issue the way that they come at it? Why does it seem like there's a disconnect with us around this issue? What are their motives? And when you learn more about your partner, you know, the conflict becomes less frequent and it becomes less damaging, because you know more about who they are and what they're dealing with. I can, think about myself and my husband, and I can think about, he's talked about this before, in terms of our personalities and that kind of thing. He tends to be a little more conservative, and I don't want to say.
I don't even like that word.
Okay, well, rigid, you don't like that either, do you?
That's different than conservative.
I'm gonna put it all in the same thing. If you're a little more conservative,
it depends on what you're talking about.
Of course, but generally speaking,
I'm talking about sneaking into the movie theater. You're like, no, let's not do that.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I'm talking about having sex in public. You're like, nah, I'm not doing that.
No, I haven't always said that. But generally speaking, right? Like if you said this thing when we're dealing with certain situations.
So it's situational. It is.
Why you always gotta
I gotta qualify that thing, because like
why? Because you take some type of issue.
I'm I'm water, boo. Like I'm a Pisces. Like I'm water. I'm creative. I'm flexible. You know. I mean, it's like that whole conservative rigidity. Like, so we gotta qualify that thing.
This is true, but let's qualify within the context of this relationship right here.
But you still got to know. When
you contrast, no, I'm not drilling it down right now. I'm trying to make the freaking point. When you contrast when you're trying to do an analysis of our relationship right now.
Public record. So
when you contrast you and me, I'm a little more out, a little free and whatever. About. Generally speaking, boo, I'm a Leo. That's what I am. You're Pisces. You're like water, but you're a little more, you floating and looking and seeing what's going on. You're more chill with it, and you're more conservative. That's generally what it is. Okay. So I was trying to get to a point. I know you don't like it, but you jive like saying. I still
think it's situational, but go ahead, make your point.
Yeah, let me make my point. Lord have mercy. I was talking about to lose the damn point. I'm trying to mess around with you. Jennifer Tyler said, what's your signs? I'm a Leo, Jennifer, and he's a Pisces. Fire and water, right? The only water that can put this fire out. So look, what the hell was the point? So
exactly, Anika. Yes.
we water. Yeah, you are water. But we also have to look at your individual context, and if we look at your family of origin and some of your upbringing,
again, it's situational.
So I'm talking about you, bro. I'm talking about me and you. This relationship right here. When we can look at your sign and all that and your general nature, but we also take that and mix that in with a little more kind of upbringing, right? Then that's who you be. Man, we're gonna do another live stream. We're gonna talk about this thing a little bit more.
I'm not feeling that one.
All right, Jennifer. You know what are you talking about? You actually lift this up. We can go back and audit the live streams, and we will hear Ayize talking about
this is conflict. This is
talking about how he can an omen. Talking about how, I can be a little more, sometimes rigid and a little more conservative. And you might not use the word conservative, but you've used the word rigid. So you know what I'm talking about, but you don't want to know tonight. It's all good. This is conflict, right? This is how we learn about each other. But to my point, the conflict helps you to learn about your partner's motives. So my husband, I experience him to be, and he has talked about this in the past, even though he getting brand new tonight, when he's in the household or what have you, there's certain things that do not bother me. There's certain things that I'm not tripping off of. Yeah. So it can be about, real talk. I am not Martha Stewart. It can be what the household is looking like. What the household is looking like. It ain't no pigsty or a mess, but he's coming in and he can't focus because there's something right there on the floor, right? He's calling the kids down. What time? It's 7:59. Go to bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's real, just kind of like, wait a minute. It's time to just say earlier today, senior skip day tomorrow. I'm like, already told him, like, all right, bro, do that. He's automatically like, well, who's skipping? I'm sorry.
I'm not saying it like that. I mean, come on, man.
I know. I just realized how I was talking. But he's like, who's skipping? Well, how do you know? Why can't you go to school? You just come.
Why do you hear it like that?
You just come because you just be like pressed. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, let the dude skip it. So I had senior skip day. It's like rigid. It's like narrow. It's like, follow the rules.
So you can say, like, when it comes to
follow the rules.
Yeah. When it comes to the children, you gotta be like that.
Yeah, you be like that on 1,000.
Yeah, with the children.
Okay.
With the children.
So anyway, at the end of the day, what I can do is this. He and I have had conflict around these kinds of issues, these kinds of things. I get very agitated by it. He gets agitated by me. I'm like, chill. He's like, back up and let's put some structure in place, right? And that can be around the children. It can also just be about how we run our household and how we do things. And so it's been helpful for me a lot of times to get into the conflict, to have the conversations and be like, you press, like, why are you tripping off this right now? You don't know how to be present. Sit down. Why you always got to, kind of try to go around and make sure everything is lined up? And what he's told me at different times, he's told me a number of different things, but I can think of just one thing. You'll say a lot of times I'm trying to get to a place of calm and peace or what have you, but I feel like I need to do this, and this. Now, my challenge for him is, bro, you ain't got to do all of that to get to peace. But I know that his motive, that's what's happening for him. His motive is that he's trying to get some order in his physical space and his mental and emotional space so that he can be calm and so that he can, relax. And so because I know that about my partner, because I've entered into the places of conflict with him and said, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Then that helps me to not personalize it. Because before, I'm wifey. I'm like, you irritated about that sock? You really think when you come in here, that sock need to be picked up? And Yana, you should have picked up that damn sock. And why I coming in here and you ain't started the dinner yet? And you should have already started the dinner. Why he ain't in the bed? I'm personalizing it. Right. And on some level, I think you do be thinking of some of that stuff sometimes. But outside of that, I know his temperament. I know his personality. I know what's happening for him because I've entered into those places of disagreement, argument, conflict. And I would not know that if I didn't take the risk and say, you tripping. And he'd be like, no, you tripping. And then we can go there and I understand him better. So the ways that we deal with that kind of dynamic between us now differ greatly from how we dealt with that in the past. Because I know who he is and he knows who I am. And and we know how to manage some of this conflict. I got to do a public service announcement real quick. And it's not just a public service announcement. We were going to wait towards the end, and we are getting towards the end. We're going to do it right now, but I just have to go ahead and echo my pastor, and she just dropped on, if you see in one of the comments, Anika Wilson Brown says, join us at the Courageous Couples Retreat. You can you can learn more at what is it?
CourageousCouplesRetreat.com.
Yeah, CourageousCouplesRetreat.com. We do have a few spots left. I'm going to be sending you an email tonight, Anika, because we just had 2 new signups that you may already be aware of. So we are whittling down. How many spaces do we have left?
I feel like it's like 3.
Yeah, so we had 2 more signups. So we got a few spaces left. I'm saying Bruce and Fine 29. I ain't seen y'all on the list. I'm just saying I have to call y'all out like that. So we are going in October. We're going to the Aquaba Mansion. It is a Black-owned mansion. Beautiful grounds. It's gorgeous. Go to CourageousCouplesRetreat.com. You will find information about the grounds, about the beautiful space that we'll be in. Everybody will have their own room. 14 couples total. We will all come together and we will enter into the cipher and into the space of elevating ourselves individually and elevating our relationships, stepping into some vulnerability, stepping into a whole lot of fun. It's going to be amazing. And we want to see y'all there. So yeah, if you want to do it, you need to get your deposit in. If you have any questions about it and you're, wanting to know anything about it at all, you can also hit us up by messaging me here on Facebook. And you can always email us at info, at the letter B, intentional.com. Again, INFO, F as in Frank, O at the letter B, intentional.com. Courageous Couples Retreat 2019, Union Temple Baptist Church. That's how we do. It's going to be fabulous. So please, please, please check it out and share. You can share with someone because I know many people watch us who are not in a relationship yet, but getting trained and ready for their partner who's coming. Share with someone who you think may benefit. All right, we are on the last situation for the evening, correct? Hello?
Number 5. You did 3, 4. I did 5. You just did 6, right?
Yeah, so this is number 7.
Yeah, so number 7.
Number 7, last but not least, tonight, as we are talking again about conflict in the relationship and why it's a benefit. 7 reasons why conflict benefits your relationship. And for those of you who are natural avoiders of conflict, don't want to speak up, don't want to say what's happening, you want to make things nice, you minimize it, you complain to your friend, but then when you're talking to the person, you kind of shrink from it. This is for you. You need to understand that there is a benefit to conflict and it helps to grow your relationship. So here we are on number 7.
So some of y'all may know that, you can only squeeze your hand and hold your hand. Everybody do this. If you're watching this live stream right now, just squeeze your hand, make a fist.
Oh, make a fist.
And squeeze it really, really, really tight as you can.
Okay.
And hold it for as long as you can. You'll start to notice that with your fist being tight, you holding your fist tight, eventually you'll arrive at a place where your hand will naturally start to relax. You'll start to feel the need to release some of the tension. Now, you may bring it back. You may bring the tension back.
Yeah, I'm already.
But eventually, again, your hand will start to just naturally release. And so, again, what I want to lift up here is that one of the benefits. Why are you looking at me like that?
Oh, who? Me?
Yeah, yeah.
How are you looking at me? You're looking at the camera.
But I'm watching you through the screens.
Because you're fine.
One of the benefits of conflict is that it can strengthen your relationship by giving you the opportunity, by giving you the space, the moment to experience a magnanimous, elevated, earth-shattering,
you're setting this thing up,
quivering, magnetic and hypnotizing and tantalizing and just incredible and amazing release. And so, I want you all to be aware that the tension is okay, because at the end of the tension, again, there's the opportunity. Once you go through the conversations, once you go through the tears, once you go through the disagreement, once you go through the headache, the frustration, once you go through the conversation, you eventually, hopefully, will arrive at a place where you get the opportunity to experience that sexual release. And so some of y'all might think that conflict ain't necessary, but I can attest to the fact that when it comes to moments of intensity, when it comes to moments of extreme or heightened pressure and frustration and stress in my relationship with my wife, there's something on the other side that I look forward to. I don't go into it
really,
planning it and being preemptive and strategizing about getting that. But what I can say is that, again, that release is amazing. It's amazing. And so the connection that my wife and I experience during those moments of tension, and then also working through it, it gives us an opportunity to connect, to experience a heightened level of intimacy. But in that experience of heightened level of intimacy, sometimes that's us hugging. Sometimes that's us kissing. Sometimes that's us just simply touching and caressing. And then sometimes that's us
effing.
It's
all a part of the process. I knew he was going there. It's all a part of the process, but we will not get to any of these things, y'all. I cannot say this enough. We won't get to any of this stuff.
It's not the answer.
No, it's not the answer, because it's not. This is after you have entered into the conflict, right? You've entered into the conflict and you are navigating it. You are expressing your needs. You are willing to, really be vulnerable. But if you just jump to that, Antonio, don't simplify. So conflict and sex becomes a way of surviving marriage.
We gave you 6 other reasons.
We gave you lots of reasons why conflict benefits your relationship. But don't get it twisted. Sexual connection is a part of that process. You won't be willing to do that, and it won't be as sweet and it won't be as good if you do not enter into the conflict. So, but sometimes the distance is needed. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like you need to kind of be a little more agitated than you normally are. I need to not like you for a couple of days so I can really love you when we get to the other side. That's for real. That's about yin and yang. Right? That is the spiritual and divine connection that happens in relationships, but we will not get to those places if we're not willing to enter into conflict. Y'all have to be willing to do what it is that you need to do. What does this mean for you? It means that whatever you tend to do, you need to kind of lighten it up and lean in the other direction. If you're the one running the conflict, running to talk about it, I want to know what's going on, what's happening. Shh. If you're the one that's, I holler at you tomorrow, I'm still thinking about that, let me come back to you, we ain't really got to talk about it. Speak up. Speak up. Because whatever it is that we come with, we divinely come with to teach our partner. And we also come to our partner so that we can grow the things that we need to grow in us in terms of our skill set with managing our relationship. And conflict, y'all, is just one of those things. So we hope that this has been of help to you. We hope that you check out courageouscouplesretreat.com for those last few spots. I think the link was already dropped by Reverend Anika, so that may already be there. We'll also drop the link. You can reach out to us for any questions. We got a few spots left. We want to see y'all there. And as always, none of this will be possible for you if you don't stop playing and start pushing. Peace, y'all.
Peace, y'all.